Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been a while. When was the last time I
I
actually saw you?
I don't know, like had to be like 4 years ago, like three.
Long time. Oh.
I know, very true. High school did a lot. I don't know. Got really busy
Mm-hmm.
with school,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like when I left, like dance expression, so many other people did too, like the same year, or a lot of my friends for some reason. Like it was really sudden. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, I don't know. Um, I know I'm like so awkward. I'm sorry,
No, 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 that's cool.
but I am now home because obviously the main reason I reached out was because I did just drop out of college, which is weird as heck.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I've always been like a super school oriented person,
Mm-hmm.
and something about college I just absolutely hated, and I can't like put it or like give it to one reason, but I just couldn't do it right now. And it was just really weird because everyone knew I was going to UNH, and then I'm home and my family's like, why are you here? Like when I see my grandparents and I have to explain it, and it's
Uh-huh.
just so much, but I don't know.
Um, how long were you there for?
2 weeks.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like, so it was just, to the point where I was there for not so long, so a lot of people just like assume it was cold feet, and it was like, oh, you just have to get used to it and that sort of thing. But I've also always been someone to have like a type A personality, which can be just like a very bad thing for yourself, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
just because I'll push myself way too hard.
Okay.
Especially in high school. There was this, I think it was junior year, I had to take a college course for anatomy and physiology. I had to take chem, and I also had to take microbiology all in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And that really like destroyed me. Just my body doesn't handle stress well
Okay.
whatsoever.
Okay.
And to the point where like I just like drop weight really easily, and it was just a really bad situation. And being in college for 2 weeks, I had like 7 courses.
Mm-hmm.
And
Damn, 7 courses.
yeah, I was going for biomedical lab science, which was a pretty big major. I was surprised to see how many kids there were, but I had to take chemistry, which I was like, oh, I've taken chem, like, it's hard, but whatever. Meanwhile, it was a lecture with over 200 kids, which is typical,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember, like, after classes, I was like, oh, like, whatever, let me just, like, study a little bit, like, start homework. I sat and studied basic chemistry for 6 hours, and nothing clicked. Like, it was probably the most heartbreaking experience of my life, just sitting there and, like, after all that time and not even taking in, like, anything. And a lot of people are like, oh, like, you could have changed your major or dropped a class, but they're all, you go to college and they're like, oh, just reach out to your advisors. But during this time of year, they're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I emailed my advisor, she was like, oh, well, I'm really busy right now. Is it okay if you talk to this teacher instead? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And so she was a teacher for like one of my core classes or whatever. and she just confronted the whole class and was like, if any of you were thinking about already like switching a major, dropping a class, like you can't. Was just very like against it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously like her not knowing how strongly like kids felt about it, it just really, I felt like I was a number there. Like I feel like that's really common, but it was just to the point of them not even like allowing you to change your mind yet. And college obviously is super expensive, especially when you're away. So I decided just to like pull out, look over things, and like at least get a refund for everything, because I didn't want to stress any more than I was. But I don't know, because after going to a tech school, like where you're basically going there for a trade and you can graduate high school with a job, I like started questioning like, oh, should I have just like gotten a job out of college, because like school is so stressful for me and it's just been a lot to take in. But yeah, I don't know. Being an adult is hard. I don't like it. I hate it.
Oh yeah, I feel that. It's not. It's not all that bad.
Yeah.
So what made you want to take 7 classes? That's suicide.
Yeah. I don't know. Just thinking I could handle it, when 2 of them honestly weren't even that bad. But just, I wish I did take more control over my classes. I feel like for college it was something I just kind of rushed into, and I didn't really take the time to like look through everything like I should have. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought I could handle it, and I couldn't. So
Okay.
that was pretty. But yeah.
I know it's early, but school is, like, you don't know if school is completely off the table at all yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure, I would like, I think even in like next semester or something, even if I just commuted to classes, I'd be completely fine. But I don't know if it just was too early or what, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I went to college for a little bit, but not a university or anything. I just went to Middlesex. I took like 2 to 4 classes, between that range I was doing, and it was fine. And I got good professors. It wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't the greatest student. If I had to do school again, though, I'd be a bomb-ass student.
Yeah.
But I think that people rush into this stuff without thinking about how serious the commitment is.
Yeah.
And, I think people forget that school is a business, not where you have to go. Like, it's just a business, and
Exactly.
they're selling you a product, and it doesn't guarantee anything. So I would think about that. Okay. So what was the major again?
Medical lab science, or biomedical lab science, but yeah, basically leading into like phlebotomy and things like that. But I would like to prefer working in a lab just after being in nursing in high school. But yeah, it was just really different compared to like going to nursing homes and assisted living centers, and I wanted something out of that. Or I don't know how to explain it, but I would rather be in a lab than with people, which is weird because I'm a people person, but I just get so scared dealing with people. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's difficult to explain. But yeah, I don't know. I think another thing too is in high school, what turned me off of nursing was like my teachers would always mention like how easy it was to mess up, or like for licenses to get like revoked and things you had to be so careful about. And even though I am a really careful person, it just like totally made me second guess everything too. So that was really big. But
well, you'd also mentioned you lost. Like, do you have a? I'm assuming you don't have a clear sense of direction.
yeah, not at all.
Okay. I'm just trying to do some like small digging before I jump into the real stuff.
Wait, are you sorry? It like froze, so I don't know if I don't know if I got what you were asking.
Are you on the live stream still or no?
I think, yeah, I should be.
Okay, because there's still. I'm just seeing if there's any lagging on my end. I'm not sure. Thank you froze.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I don't even know if it's me or you or us or the server. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I said that I'm trying to ask like the smaller questions and digging before I jump into the real stuff.
Yeah.
Trade school, college, 2 weeks. You had mentioned, you said you don't deal with stress well?
Yeah. Or not recently, I guess. It's very hard for me to set out times for everything and not just wanting to get everything done at once. And I feel like that's one of my biggest problems. Instead of breaking things into times and just taking it slow, I'm always someone to just like, I want to get all of this done, so I have free time, but it never ends up like that.
So what ends up happening instead?
I just think I can put like 8 hours of work into one day and I try to do it and I just explode. Or high school is a bit different just because I did have more going on. Because I did work a lot during the week, so I just work, go to school, like sleep, wake up, school, work, and sleep. So that was pretty bad. But I don't know, I think I just tend to take too much on at one time and I don't make it easier for myself to deal with, I guess.
Why do you do that?
I don't know. I swear it's just, I don't know. I think I just overestimate myself to, I have no clue. I really don't. That's something I should just look into. But.
Okay.
And it's funny too because like I've never had parents that have like pushed me. They've never had to push me to do anything. And everything came out of just like my own work, my own brain. Like I never had to have my parents push me in school whatsoever. I just did well because I wanted to. So I don't know. It's not even like disappointing people around me. It's just like I hold myself, I feel like it's such a like, I don't know, such a high level. But I think a lot of people do that. But I do it like more in a way, I don't know. but
No,
it's
no, it's
hard to
cool, it's
explain.
cool. Yeah, there are some people that do that. Not a lot of people, but some people. Um, I would
Hmm.
at at some point try to figure out if that was something, whether it was like, and I don't think it's the most important thing, but it does help when you can like understand where your current personality traits come from. So if you can dig
Hmm.
and like whether it's completely genetic, like oh it's passed on to you somehow, and that's totally fine. But if you can dig and it's like tied into the way you're raised or like school conditions, friendships, whatever that is that kind of brought you to that space. So like I'm pretty much aware of
Yeah.
how a majority of my personality has come to be. Um, and I mean that's like something that you can do on your time. Um, what else did I want to get into? Well, okay. I guess to start, um, hold on. There's two different things. Um, direction. Well, I wouldn't. It's good to hold yourself to high standards, but I wouldn't beat yourself up for it. That takes practice.
Yeah.
I used to do that. My friends used to do that. That comes from like if even if you're not comparing yourself, but you're kind of just doing it like oh like I can be better or whatever, and like that part is good to have. But if you can remove
Hmm.
the deprecation, the self-deprecation part, um, you'll see lots of like you'll see improvements. It's having the standards, but
Yeah.
not beating yourself up when you don't reach them. Um, that's like wicked healthy if you can do that for yourself. Okay, so do you feel like you have to have everything figured out right now?
Yeah. Basically. Because like obviously like once I like told my family like, "Oh yeah, so they're like, "Oh, so what are you doing now?" Like they just obviously you shouldn't base your life off of people's expectations and whatever, but I always like to have a plan, and when I don't, I'm just like I try to be as organized as I can. So when I can't understand myself and what I want to do, it really
I
freaks
see.
me out. But right now I'm just hoping to work um and I don't know, just try to find out what I truly like if I really do want to go into medical lab science or if I find something else that really sparks my interest and I actually like don't stress over things I'm learning and they're easy to come to and stuff because I
Yeah.
find them interesting. But
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna see if
yeah.
I can just jump into this straight. Almost. I should be taking notes. Where's my brain going? If I don't want to go there yet. The pressure, knowing everything. Yeah, well, that's what it was. Knowing. So you definitely don't have to have everything figured out. Okay, you talked about when you don't have a plan, right? So I know that feeling, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people do. And I think that um, okay, that's what it was. Okay, I do need to take notes before I get into that. Um, do you have any financial obligations?
Yes and no. Luckily I have like very um helpful parents right now
Mm-hmm.
since I am so young, but I'm also someone that would want to build myself and like I don't want to depend on them for like anything. That's why I do want to work cuz I've worked ever since I could.
Okay.
Um so not exactly, but I've always been in a household where like we have worried about money, so it's something that's just built
I
into my
see.
blood at this point, and I always worry about like a financial
Okay. Okay, that
problem.
makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
okay. I think. All right. So now we get to the real stuff. All right. So, um, you definitely don't have to have everything figured out because you're early in the process, as some people like to say. So it's fine that you don't know. So I'd say that because you're basically uncomfortable when you don't have a plan. And so as someone
Yeah.
who is really into self-improvement, I think it's really important that you learn how to be okay with not having a plan. That's really hard. And it might seem like you're not doing
Yeah.
anything. Like if you need, financial stability, do that. Work, don't have a career goal, nothing.
Yeah.
None of that stuff doesn't even have to be present. You don't have to go to school, none of that. It's more so like put yourself through the proper mental arena of you working on yourself so that you have all the skills you need to take on the world properly. Because like just jumping into things because you feel like you have to, and like I always refer to college because that's what a lot of people do, and I'm like, it's just a business. You're just giving, you're buying something that someone is selling you. Most of the time, it's not even a good ROI, return on investment. So just work on that flaw because it'll alleviate a lot of anxiety, and so that in the future when you are lost again, that you don't
You just look back to
because
it.
you develop the skill of like, oh, I know what this is like. Being lost is okay. I'm cool with that. You're comfortable having a plan, and you're not comfortable not having a plan. If you want to be more versatile and more adaptable, learn how to just be chill with the unknown and not having a sense of direction and being a little less anal about stuff. If you can do that, which is going to take time to build, you'll be way better off.
Yeah.
Because people always feel like they need a plan of action and they need to be going in a certain direction, so they'll do anything. Even if it's the wrong thing, like going into the wrong major, throwing down 60 grand, 80 grand, and then changing their minds. It's like, you don't need to keep going, and that's not a smart way to go. And so it's so much better to not financially invest in that sense and not give yourself stress and anxiety over like, oh, I need to have a plan. It's like, you just need to survive. That's all you really need to do. You know what I mean? And in the meantime, develop your mental stability and like your versatility and stuff, because that's really important. So that if you're gonna take anything away from this talk, I'd say be comfortable with being lost, and that is totally fair because we spend our whole lives in a very structured format of going, that there's not much time to kind of explore like the present or what could be, or just opening your eyes up to other things and experiences. So I would just say you don't have to have a plan, and keep telling yourself that, and what the cool thing is, if you get that into your head, you're gonna start seeing and feeling your body more because you're hyper aware of like, oh wow, this is really what I feel like right now because I don't have a plan. It's like, then you learn how to calm those nerves, and eventually it becomes a habit, and that's good. And then once you're there and you know what it feels like to be chill about stuff, it's then a good idea to then find the balance between knowing when to be passive and not being okay with like having no sense of direction, and then really getting on the grind. Yeah, that's like super powerful, and that's something that I learned how to do. I took about definitely over 2 years. I want to say 3-ish. Like I was someone who like, and then you were my student for a bit, so you got to see me in that whatever I was doing, and you got to see me grow a little bit. I don't know how, I guess, intelligent or invested you were in like me at all, just to kind of see any noticeable changes or anything. But when I was there during the times that you knew me, like I was very focused on like certain things, like dance, and like I had all these images of myself and like what I wanted to be. And it started to like fold and like change because I was taking on things that weren't authentic to me. I didn't know that at the time. And I had a lot of drive, so that was always a thing for me. But then I put that, like my drive started to kind of dwindle, like I crashed a lot, this and that, and then I had to take a step back and be like, what am I doing? And I spent like pretty much over 3 years not being motivational in any way, not being ambitious about anything, not having any goals that I could manifest and see. It was all internal work. I just took a step back. I started trying to reconnect to just being a human being, not an achiever, not someone who's
Yeah.
established, not meeting people's expectations that I had laid out. Like, oh, like he's this person who's a dancer and choreographer. He's gonna do this and this and that. And then I just kind of threw all that away. Really hard to do. And I started stripping things away from my life that I was very familiar with, that I was afraid to let go, because I didn't want to let people down. And then I was afraid of like the image of like, oh, like now I'm not this person that I said I was gonna be. 3 years, it's a long time. But through that process, which I needed, and I wish I had known I needed it sooner, or I wish I had that balance earlier in my life, but I didn't understand what balance meant. Now I'm in this place. And this place is clarity, sense of direction, no pressure, no anxiety. I don't regret anything. I've never regretted anything, but it's just like, just imagine being in a place where you don't feel any external pressure. You don't feel like there's a psycho voice in your head telling you to do and be all these things that you can't be. Like, you just know. You feel good about everything that you're doing. Like, that place exists. That shit's real.
Yeah.
But there's so much work that you have to do in order to get there. But once you do get there, your foundation for life is wicked strong. So then anything that comes your way, it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like, you can just take it, you know? And the whole not having sense of direction thing. Now I have a very clear sense of direction. And the whole having no sense of direction, I guess, just comes with taking on new challenges and not knowing what's going to happen. Or doing things on a whim. Or just more so just following my intuition. I don't really, there's not much guesswork, I guess. Sorry, it says, hey, learning is super hard because learning or just caring about not having a plan is easily mixed up. Yeah, I feel that. I'm on Twitch. I don't know if you can see that. Some people are commenting, but learning that.
Oh, okay.
Learning that is super hard. Yes, because learning or just not caring about not having a plan is easily mixed up. Yeah, for sure. Learning it is way more important, and so knowing the difference, and so that's why my advice to people is different. It's not the same across the board. Which for this person to understand.
Yeah.
Fox and Nation. Okay, so learning to trust what I call the process. If you trust in that piece of advice, then you trust that and you keep going with it. And then when you start to realize, oh, I'm kind of different now, then you're like, okay, then you take the next step. Everything is in steps, and you start feeling it authentically. To the whole passion thing, once you find it, it's so obvious. So that's like,
yeah. And
I know when someone hasn't found it, and you obviously know that you haven't found it. But when someone's like, oh, I don't know if I like this thing or whatever, it's like, when you know, there's no second guessing anything. You might have to like evaluate for like a month or two to be like, am I just like super infatuated by this, or am I like really into it? Like, there's that. To open people's eyes. Okay. So there's two things you can do to find this passion. And one of the most obvious things is just to try a bunch of stuff. A bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That's one. The second thing that gets you, I think, that gets you there faster than just trying a bunch of random things. But if you do both, it just elevates the speed at which you'll find it. Is just digging internally, and there's steps to that. It's, asking yourself the questions. What do you want? That could be a very loaded question. Letting go is a super huge, not preached enough thing. And so when you think of letting go, you want to think about your identity, anything that anyone might perceive you as, any obligations you have. If you can just let go of all of it, you'll start to find answers. That shit's really hard, because you have emotional attachment to stuff, and it's a neuroscience thing. So you have to let it. Yet all the things are tied up in your head right now that makes you your identity. You have to like slowly start releasing all that stuff and then implementing new DNA basically. So letting go of things that you just feel like don't serve you is really important. Serving, and then the whole serving you just
Yeah.
means if it doesn't make me happy, if it doesn't give me a ton of energy. So like I would hate to do 8 hours of homework, but I'd love to do 15 hours of something I enjoy. I can go forever doing what I enjoy. And then,
Yeah.
so it's that recognizing what gives you that
Yeah.
boost of energy. Um, so yeah, when you get a chance to reflect on those things, let go, let go, let go. Test and experiment a lot of different things to see if anything clicks for you. And hang out more with optimistic people who are different.
Yeah.
Or just if you can put yourself in a position like or around people who believe in possibility, that helps a ton too. Because I don't know if you struggle with like any level of confidence when it comes to trying new things or doing stuff that are really weird, or if you have any ideas that you think are trash, but then you might just need one person to be like, nah, like let's do it. Sometimes that is just, and now I'm speaking from
Yeah.
experience. When I wasn't in that environment, I didn't notice how bad it really was until I was in an environment that was like, nah, let's do it. I was like, whoa, you think we can do it? I didn't say that. It's just I could feel it from them that like, yeah, like why not? Let's try. Like that is crazy.
Yeah. So,
Do you have any thoughts? Okay, okay. No,
I
I was
feel
gonna ask you if
like,
you had any thoughts anyways.
sorry. um, I feel like that's one thing is me getting along with people my age, and I know that's like whatever. Like I do have like a couple of really good friends, but that was another thing, just going to school and being surrounded by kids that like genuinely just like didn't care about basic human things was just so concerning. Like I don't know. I feel like everyone's like live at college and go here
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
experience, and I don't need the experience. Like I don't
Me
care for
neither.
that like whatsoever. And being there like surrounded by just like kids that really weren't even there for like a so-called passion, or weren't even, I felt like people I were with weren't even there for just like bettering themselves. It was just all,
Yeah.
like parties, and parties are fun when it's with like 5 people that I'm really close with, and like we're playing like Jenga. Like I'm not down to just go to all this random stuff where people's health aren't even considered, and I don't know. I just feel like it was not in my environment whatsoever being there. Um because I thought branching off would be good for me when really I just like shouldn't have gone. But um I don't know. It was just weird.
No, I feel that too. That's
It was really
so
weird.
fortunate for you. Like, cause I tend to come across people who feel the same way that you do. And I'm just like, cool. You kind of
Yeah.
get it. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Instead of kind of just
Yeah.
being one of those people who just don't, and then you're lost, and you're just lost in a way where you're also just wasting money and you don't know what you're doing, and you're stressed. So then you kind of just spend everything on alcohol. How I see it is
Yeah.
like, yo, if I'm throwing like 40K, 15, 20K a year or whatever that is, like, I'm not trying to get messed up every weekend or whatever. Like, that's mad money. Like,
Yeah.
go do something else.
Exactly. Not to mention like people are really like
I
drinking and doing
know.
stuff to get their minds off of like doing something they don't even like, and like it's just so bad. I hate that so much. Like it's just a coping mechanism, like a very dangerous coping mechanism with like not understanding like what you want to do. I feel like that would be me if I like didn't get out of there quick. I would just give up and it'd be bad. But um yeah, I don't know. I feel like college people can
Yeah,
really
it
thrive or
depends on the
just
person. One like okay, like one of my
exactly.
friends, he went to college with a game plan. I was like, there's not many people that go to college with game. He went to dominate, like,
Mm,
so he created a game plan to become president
yeah.
of his class, okay, of high school. Did that, okay? He got that, killed it. He was probably one of the best
Yeah.
presidents that they've had. And then going into college, game plan, dominate the same way. So what he was able to do was, so right now he's doing what he loves full time. So he grinds really hard every day. Um,
Mm,
he he
yeah.
does he focuses on his career, but then he also focuses on the culture of hip hop, and he kind of combines everything. So he gets what he needs. He's studying, he's
Um,
getting his history, connects with people, building his own brand through different ways, um, as an artist, but then also as a lights person
mm,
and whatever. Uh, but then he also is like doing stuff for his school and bringing that hefty price tag super down from like 40, 60K to like 4 or 10K or something like that. So when you go in there with a game plan and you
yeah.
have it set and you know what you're there to do, that's so different. I'm like, that's a good investment and you know what you're getting out of it. He's making the connections with the school and he's making the connections with the area. He's like taking advantage of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all, if you're gonna go to school and you know why you're there, that's what you're supposed to do. Like you don't go in there trying to figure shit out. Like I know, like, and you could do that. You can explore, and I understand that. I
Exactly.
just think if you want to figure shit out, you can explore different. Like, you don't have to throw 20, 30, $40,000 to figure out what you want to do. You should be trying to figure that out on your downtime. So like, and
Exactly.
he also parties and has a good time. He's a
Hmm.
productive partier, which is even better because like he hustles like. So
Yeah.
I really respect that. And then someone like his sister, I don't know where she's at in terms of like her passion and stuff, but she also went with a game plan, and I think either doesn't have to pay for school, and not because she's a genius, because she hustled the right way, or the school is paying her. So like
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. It's like if you're gonna go into these
That's
things, like if you
insane.
don't come out with like
Yeah.
start with a game plan, like what are you doing? Like you go into these places to dominate. So that's why I was like, if I were to go back to school, if it was in the cards for me, it'd be such a different game.
Hmm.
Like I would be killing it so hard. But I don't. But that's not my space. I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you do go
Hmm.
back to school, it's definitely better to have a sense of direction. Um, and to find that sense of direction, I guess you can just work on whatever it is that we're talking about with like internal work and then exploring. 'Cause you can do all that and not have to pay anybody. Um, go. Um, have you gone to any
Yeah.
open mics? Have you done that? Yeah, like play around, like
No,
go to
not yet.
stuff
At
where
least.
people showcase themselves. Go to major niche events that maybe relate to you. Maybe I don't know. Um, Open mics are always like some of my favorite places to go, and I recommend people to go just because like you'll probably run into poetry, maybe music, maybe dance if there's any dancers in the area. But
Hmm.
it's just what they say on the mic is ridiculous. Usually, if they're good, and it's really inspiring, gets you moving. You feel the
Yeah.
urge to like talk to them, and you should. You learn a lot culturally about people, whatever. You start jumping into different scenes, you make friends. And you're like, oh, I can definitely make friends outside of, an institution. You start taking random pop-up classes of different
Yeah.
stuff to see what you like. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, explore. I would explore a lot. When you have downtime, explore. Um, and that internal work. If you,
Yeah,
I
for
don't know, do
sure.
you see, like, do you reflect a lot? Do you do internal work actively? Okay, okay.
Not that I know of. Maybe I have. But not as often as I should, I think.
Um, well, if you want to hang around a lot of cool people, I'm always around a lot of cool people. Uh,
Yeah.
Usually, once we suck people in, it's really easy to kind of get the wheels turning for them. Um, People usually make drastic changes with their lifestyle, their choices, and just it's just like it's the energy too. Well, that's like the most important thing. It's the energy that really helps a lot.
Yeah.
Someone that actually has come around a little bit is Julia
Hmm.
Goggins.
Yeah, no, I believe me, we used to be really close. She was probably one of the first
Yeah,
people I've ever made friends with in middle school, and
yeah, she's a good,
yeah,
good kid.
I bet.
Um,
Yeah.
Someone said, although I have to say this, I kind of have no plan or anything like that. I'm more like, if something happens, it happens. I mean, I'm more of the person who reacts to situations instead of planning them out. I don't know if that's the right mindset. I guess the only way to find out is to try the other one as well. Both. Um, I always think both. I don't think there's one ultimate answer to anything. I think if learning how to have both of
Hmm.
everything is always really good. Um, and I don't think I need to really get deep into that unless we get specific about something. But yeah, someone said that, and I always say both. There's never really one way to do anything. Because if you limit yourself to just doing one style of something, um, you'll burn out. Let's just say it that way. You're either gonna burn out or you're gonna feel like you become a victim again. Like people who are really woke and shit, like when they're too much into that and they have the wrong mindset, they have no sense of direction, they
Hmm.
don't know how to build anything, they have no structure, they have no motivation, they need, they're too zen to the point where they become like a sensitive little egg and they can't do anything. Then you have the opposite side who does too much,
Yeah.
has no emotions, no feelings, no nothing. They just get completely disconnected. Time flies by. You get older and just like, where did all the time go? Um, so like you need that duality, and that takes time. And if you can get it from people, like you're
Yeah.
talking to me now, and you can get that in your head, and then you probably don't fully understand what that means. There's a lot of things I didn't understand that I liked growing up, but I had to practice it and I had to learn what it meant for myself.
Yeah.
Um, and now that I'm in this place, I learned that wow, I'm learning how to trust a lot of this stuff, and now I can pass that on to people. Like if you have good advice, especially if it's from someone who's already been through certain things, it's so much easier to trust that, and you can excel so much faster. Um, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts or questions?
Um, I think like the one thing too, like you were saying
Mm-hmm.
a lot, was like letting go, because I feel like that is something that I definitely do need to work on, and there are certain things that like immediately popped into my head um when you were talking about just letting go. And as much as people say, surround yourself with positive people, and you just try to convince yourself that the people you do hang out with in a way are positive when they really aren't, and you're just trying to tell yourself that. And just people that aren't there for you in the long run and aren't trying to support you, or you just kind of have to ditch them, even though if you know them
Mm-hmm.
for so long, and because you can't change people as much as you
Mm-hmm.
try. And I feel like I try that too much, and
Oh,
it makes a lot of
okay.
sense of why people don't
Try to
grow.
change people, I see. We all try to do that. That's yeah.
Yeah, doesn't work. Never will.
um, well, I can say that if that's something that I think that's just a natural human thing to do, and I've understood that, and a
Exactly.
lot of
Yeah.
the great leaders say it too. That hence why letting go matters so much. It's that when you focus on yourself,
Hmm.
change happens so much easier. You can affect people that way, because when you become what you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's different. Because everything it's all just words until you're doing
Hmm.
it, and then you're an example of it. And so my biggest, I guess, I don't know what to call it, my asset or attribute or whatever, is the fact that I'm very sure of myself and I'm happy. The happiness counts a lot. Like it's one thing to like
Hmm.
flash money and be like, yeah, I got money, that's why I should listen to me. Like I'm successful, blah blah blah. But I'm like, yo, I'm happy as fuck. Like I'm happy. And it's like how do you get to that place? And
Exactly.
then at that point, when you are projecting
Hmm.
that and it's real for you, it's easier for people to listen because you're right in front of them, you know. And they, if it's something that they can
Yeah.
feel and they want, then they'll pay attention. So that's when you realize, okay, that's why I should let go, because if I really care about them, I'm not even serving them by just saying the same stuff, or whatever I'm doing. Obviously, doesn't have an impact at this moment. I'll have more of an impact if I focus on myself and just become what I'm talking about and show them instead of telling them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that connects so well in a way because one of my friends, um, he's in like HVAC, so like HVAC, like, graduated from the same school I did, and like, yeah, he makes bank,
Mm-hmm.
but he just completely hates his job, and like, it just, and kind of with other people, like, he hates what he's doing, so just on the weekends, he just parties, like, loses himself, and it's like, yeah, like, maybe because at one time I was working at like an assisted living place and like, yeah, maybe I wasn't making a ton of money, but like I was getting to talk to people all day and just like learn about their lives and like I enjoyed what I was doing and I'd go to work with like not really minding it at all and just I don't know, having friends that would just be like, yeah, I make all this
Yeah.
money and it's like for what? Like you're not happy. Like it breaks my heart. I don't know. When kids don't see that because like the world's so built on just like money is happiness when like it isn't whatsoever. Um it's really hard like breaking someone's view of that, but
Uh huh.
they'll just have to learn it, I guess. I don't know.
Uh huh.
It's a hard thing. Just gotta come around.
Uh, yeah. So I would definitely put yourself in a position where you just focus more on yourself, um, and take that super
Yeah.
seriously and take. Okay, so we live in a biased world where action and manifestation, the materialism is like dominant, right? And even science, like having to prove
Yeah.
stuff, we got to see it. So because of that, it gets pushed on to
Hmm.
us too, and that's literally why a lot of us are so emotionally imbalanced. And when you you reward that kind of attitude, so like, oh, I'm gonna get sidetracked. Okay, so I told my friend that the reason the world is messed up is because we get paid to do, not be. Right? So there's an incentive to do, and that incentive is tied
Yeah.
to survival. So then we have to overcompensate and become more action orientated and less being, and we do less intuitive things, right? Even from the jump, we're taught our ABCs and one,
Yeah.
two, threes. But then I learned in monk school that the first thing that you're taught is how to breathe, because when you can understand the breath and you can control the breath, it prepares you for any situation. So like when you're like, and you're like that kind of just takes over. You're not conscious of it anymore. But when you understand how that works,
Yeah.
like athletic people who have to be really good at that. Singers, breath control, like a lot of that's like you have to understand how your breath works. And so because of that simple fact and biased in this world, we kind of ignore a lot of internal stuff and like our emotions and balance. And like you don't get paid to be a good person and like to be a healthy, well functioning human being. You don't get paid to meditate. You don't get paid to like just be you. You have to do something, right? If you got paid to do both, the world would be balanced. But it doesn't work that way. And so
Yeah.
I would make it a point and make a lot of effort to put your mind through the paces in the healthy way, to be progressive, to identify the shortcomings that are holding you back. And a lot of the things that hold you back aren't obvious. And some people will say, forget your weaknesses and work and focus on your strengths. A lot of people I look up to think that way. And I agree to some degree, but there's a balance of, yeah, I emphasize where my strengths are. My work ethic is my biggest strength, right? I can zone out and disconnect from everyone, right? So I literally become like not a human being because in those moments, I don't really care about emotions or anything of that stuff. But because I have practiced on the other side, of like, okay, let me like jump away from that real quick and like, hey, you need my help, like let me just be a human being for 10 seconds or whatever I need to do, or there's an emergency and we need to connect and talk about stuff, like I could do that. It takes practice though. It's really hard. Like you need to build the wiring for it, neuroscience, build the wiring for that. So put your mind through the paces of, it's like the gym for your mind, you know, get it going the way that we're taught. Like in school, that's not the gym. That's fucking, you just stuff shit and you try to remember. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not the formula for it. It's about finding something interesting and investing in that thing. So what's interesting is you. So like you identify certain stuff, what's holding you back. That's interesting. Why is it like that? Oh, wow, I feel this way when this happens. I'm triggered. Why? Or am I having a panic attack? Or look, I'm having another meltdown. Then you take a step back and you're like, why am I having a meltdown? And it's like, oh, it's because I set these stupid expectations on myself.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the expectations. Or I set myself to such a high bar. And I'm like, well, that's not a bad thing. But why am I beating myself up for it? And then my advice to just go, like, the thing I say about that is, like, you just gotta learn how to be patient. Like, you can't get everything that you think you want. And, like, you have to... So just think of it as this way. Your mindset right now isn't capable of taking on that much work and not crashing. If you want to be able to take on that much work and to not crash, your mind has to hit the gym. So that's why like I took so many steps back, because I was like, let's see, what are my ambitions? My ambitions are pretty big. And I'm like, imagine I blew up overnight. Like, just say I'm an artist, right? I blew up overnight and like I have to do interviews and I have to start cranking out content and whatever, because I got something that made me viral. But I wasn't prepared. I don't have the mindset. I don't have the work ethic. I don't have the emotional resilience, and I can't crank out all this stuff to maintain what I got from being viral, right? So I'm not prepared because I didn't put myself through the paces yet. So that's what you have to do in order to increase the quality of life in the different areas that you want. So if you can get emotional stability and not be hard on yourself, you'll find that your work ethic increases. And you'll be more in tune with your body. You're like, oh no, look, that feeling of I'm about to crash is happening. Maybe I need to go hike a mountain, or maybe I need to go to an open mic because I need that kind of energy. You know what I mean? You start to understand who you are more, and you can balance. It all comes down to balance. You balance yourself out. Like, I learned personally that instead of like spending 4 hours in the studio and being like, oh, I have choreographer's block or writer's block, whatever, let me spend 2 hours. As soon as I hit that wall, I'm gonna try thinking differently. I'm gonna try, okay, let's try to make it perfect. Okay, that's not working. Let's be aggressive. No, let's improv this section, or let me just not care about my movements. I'll go through all the things that I've learned. So when I choreograph, it's not, because if you're using the same method, you think of like Einstein, he says, repeating the same thing is insanity. So like if you're stuck on something and you're using the same mindset to tackle it, to try to get an answer, that taught me that doesn't work. So I have to pivot and try a different approach, a different artistic approach. Once I'm completely out of what I've learned, I'll either take a break for 5, 10, 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, let me go consume some content, eat some food, relax. or just think about nothing, or I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna put this off. I have that, like, I feel like this weight or whatever, or these thoughts are being scrambled because I'm lacking in blah 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 blah, which is I need to go for a hike, or I need to be around running water because negative ions refuel you, and da da da, being connected back to Mother Earth, that kind of stuff, right? You learn more about yourself, and then that's what gives you the resilience. You know yourself
Yeah.
better. You can continue. You can pump out the stuff you need to pump out. So that wholeness that we're not taught as a priority, and like how to properly tackle things, is what's missing, really. Yeah, so it's exciting for you because you get to figure out a lot of stuff. You get to explore and play a ton. Um, yeah, we have a lot of comments on Twitch. But yeah, I don't know if you have any other thoughts after all that.
I think I
Yeah,
honestly
that's a
just
lot,
needed
man.
to like absorb everything. But it definitely woke me up. I think these past few days have just been so hard because I I had no idea what to do with myself. And finally just hearing something that my brain's like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like I need to work on this. It just really puts me in a better mindset than I was. And just worrying about yourself and not expectations that you have to hold, and it's just a lot you have to take in. But I think that's it. But it all makes sense. And that not having a plan's okay. That's something I'll have to get used to a lot, just because I'm a pretty organized person for the most part. So when it's all empty and it's all blank and it's not, my brain isn't filled with something to do every second, it's just very stressful. But I also have to learn how to control myself. But
Yeah, you
I
have
think it'll work.
I think you're good. I think in terms of like where
Okay, me
you
too.
can absorb stuff, which is dope. I just not if I'm watching you and just seeing where you're going. I think you should be fine. I think that realistically, like you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Because of your foundation for work.
Mm-hmm.
I love when people have a strong work ethic. That's always a good thing. Like if you have a poor ass work ethic, you're gonna have a harder time.
Yeah.
But when you come out the gate with work ethic, it's so much easier because then if you learn how to look at some of the things that I talked about, the internal work that you have to do, use that work ethic to try and understand those things. That's what I'm saying. Some people get exhausted. We'll talk, 10 minutes in is too much. 1 hour in, too much. And it's like, and then I adjust and I try to learn like, okay, at what point do I stop giving information because it's too much? And I also learned that like people, even if I'm saying like 10 different things, they'll probably only pick up on one thing, which is totally fine. Some things don't resonate right away or they resonate later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay. That's good.
Yeah. I feel it. I feel a lot better than I did. So definitely calm my nerves a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just good to like know what I need to work on myself and not to worry as much as I am, because it's okay to not know what you're supposed to do. It's okay.
Early in the process, if you can tell yourself that, and remain patient, it'll be good. And then I think so you'll realize it for yourself when because if I give advice in any way, it's stages. It's not necessarily permanent. So if I emphasize something a lot for you, it's not this is like 100% what I need to do for the rest of my life. It doesn't work that way. It's about stages, and it's up to you to kind of recognize when the pivotal point is, because say you get comfortable with not having a sense of direction, that can be horrible, and you can put yourself in that pattern.
Exactly.
And then when it's time to rise up again, you're gonna be like, I don't feel like you know what I mean, or just like the work ethic kind of goes away. And this is personal
Yeah.
experience. Then you have to find it again, and you have to rebuild what you haven't been working on for so long, which is your work ethic. Um, which is why I always go back to just learn how to
Yeah.
figure out what balance means for yourself. Um, yeah, that's that's it.
Okay. Well, it sounds good. It all sounds good. A lot to take in, but
If you need like,
it'll
you can
work
just hit
out.
me up anytime. Usually, I just need like one major
Yeah.
conversation to get an idea of like where you're at, or else I'm just like, I feel like what I'm
Yeah.
saying through text will be useless. So if you want to hit me up about any changes or questions, or if you just want to be around, the community we have is dope. Um,
Yeah.
you're not in the stream, so I guess you can. I don't think you're in the stream, but it's okay.
I I don't know. I
Okay.
think I am, but it. Oh yeah, a bit.
That's fine.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, I always encouraged. I always try and leverage,
But
and I always try to bring people in to this community because it's so healthy, and it's a good way to catapult
yeah.
you to the next stage of your life. Because so many of us have, like, some of us are standing in a position where we're looking at like some of the newbies who come into this community, and we're like, you still got to work on this, and this, and we're not judging you for it or anything, but we've like been there, so like we help keep them sane. You know what I mean? And then everyone grows at a different rate,
Yeah.
but the most important thing is that no one judges each other. Anything's possible, and it's just all love. And then they carry that into their own personal life, and then they make decisions and stuff. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah. It sounds cool. Have to do. Definitely
Yeah.
have to get involved. That's awesome. You know.
Are you in
Yeah.
Tewksbury? Okay.
But I am. Yep. For what I know of right now, because I think we're moving, or my parents want to move. But I'm still local. Like I'm still like
978.
978. Like this area. That's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I should still be around here, but
Do you still dance?
not any farther.
Or was that just never a real thing for you? I don't know if it was casual or like it was fun
Um,
or.
I did really, I did really like to dance. I feel like though, I don't know if just dance expressions like wasn't a good environment for me. I just felt like some people, I don't know, like obviously like it's not gonna be fair
Yeah.
anywhere you go. You just gotta do it for yourself and like no one else. And I just felt like being someone that like didn't do competition just because of money and stuff and like time and stuff. I just feel like if you weren't in competition, like
A
they
lot of
didn't
people
really
felt that
care
way.
a lot about you. And I know that's like coming from someone that wasn't in competition or like whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Then
Yeah.
again, that was me like 3 or 4 years ago, so I don't know. But that's how I felt because I danced for a long time. I think if I stayed one more year, it would have been my 10th year. So there, but that's the thing though. I didn't vibe with it anymore. I mean, definitely still like to dance because my like couple of my best friends they danced for a really long time. So it was kind of sad like going to their recitals and being like, shit, like I miss this and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. If anything, I'd like to get back into it. I just feel like I've had such a long break from it that I don't know, like
That's
where I'm
totally
at right
okay.
now. But yeah.
Are you
But I
free
still really
this
like to
weekend?
dance. It was a good time. I could be. I think I just have a baby shower on Sunday, actually, which is random. But that's really it. But I think Saturday, I'm pretty free. I'll have to see. I might,
If you can
whatever.
make
I'll make
yourself
myself free. It
free
doesn't matter.
Friday and
um,
Saturday, you will have fun.
okay.
So some of us are
Okay.
going down to Amherst because, yeah, so,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
okay,
I know
okay.
so many people in
So we're
Amherst.
gonna
That's
go
really
there.
cool.
There's an
Yeah.
audition that our friends are hosting for their college dance group. So we go there, dance a little bit, connect with a lot
Oh,
of people. Um, we're most likely gonna crash there, spend the night, and then Saturday is gonna be probably random. And then at some point, I believe we're gonna come back Saturday. So yeah, that's the thing. Like me, Justin, and then some of the other
yeah.
guys that you don't know. But yeah, that'll be fun. Be a good first intro to the
Yeah.
homies. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That'd be really cool, actually. Yeah. Because
Okay.
if anything, I just need to be free Sunday. So that's really cool. I'll have to, I'll have to make sure, but definitely interested.
Yeah.
So that sounds really cool.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's everything I got, I guess.
Yeah. It's everything I got to. So I think it was good, though. It was a good talk. Well needed. Cleanse my brain a bit. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
thank you. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll let you go because there's
Yeah.
still more going
Okay.
on. So
Yeah, no
I'll
problem.
let you free. But thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Peace.
Alrighty. Adios.
All right.
Peace.